Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Outside Insider podcast here on Philly Sports Network with myself, Liam Jenkins. You know the score by now. All things Eagles related, the last 7 days wrapped up and put inside whatever you're eating this quarantine. I mean, there's not much to eat. I've had to be inventive. I've gone out and bought a barbecue and somehow not poisoned people just yet, although the first time round, everyone decided they'd rather order pizza than eat my burgers. So we're baby stepping, alright? We're improving. But I hope you're all keeping safe during this stressful period. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy lives to listen to this show. If you're on YouTube, hello, how are you doing? You've got the first 20 minutes or so here, then the rest of the show will be available to download on iTunes, Spreaker, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and a bunch of others I can never remember. Basically, wherever you get your podcasts, and I've even heard down at your local store, although don't go there now, alright? Social distancing is a thing. And this is sort of what today's podcast is going to be about, because over the last couple of days, the NFL, being the NFL, have come out with a few barbaric ideas, and one of them is to try and reward teams for hiring a coach of a minority, which I think is stupid. They should be hired anyway, like they should be hired on prowess, and doing so just to enhance a draft pick is sort of going against the point of what you're trying to accomplish. Like, I think equality absolutely needs to be enforced in the NFL. I think it absolutely needs to be a focal point moving forward. I don't know how they go about doing that, and rewarding teams with draft capital or draft position doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem like a good idea to me, so I hope that doesn't stick around. Anyway, the other idea that isn't quite as barbarically stupid it resorts around the NFL regular season. And as we know, for instance, the Bundesliga returns this weekend, the German Soccer League, up the Hoffenheim, that's what we say. It'll be interesting, it'll be nice to see some sport again. Really quickly on that note, we're going to plug this later for a reason directly correlated as well. There is some esports you can watch tomorrow. I will be racing in the virtual iRacing Indy 500 over on twitch.tv/Philly Sports Network. The car is kitted out in a PSN livery. You've got 35 cars. It's 500 laps. It's going to be chaos. It's all online. It's esports. It'll be fun. And hopefully you guys can tune in and have a laugh as well. But that bit itself is very important. So the NFL have seen the Bundesliga resuming behind closed doors. They've seen the Korean Baseball League resume. And they've sort of gone, well, alright, if we do have a season, if we do push forward with this, what are we going to do about crowd noise? Like, we can't let people in. And the thing is, even if they don't let people in, people are dickheads, and they're going to start tailgating anyway, and they're going to start doing things they shouldn't and trying to sneak into the stadium. Like, the second sports comes back, it's going to be a bit chaotic, and obviously the problem is, you've got different areas doing different things, alright? So what is legal in one state may not be legal in another. People from said legal state then travel to a road game. They go there to tailgate or whatever, or cause a bit of mischief. And the same laws don't apply, or the same rules don't apply, or restrictions. So that in itself is a mess. But Joe Buck of Fox said that he wants virtual crowd noise, which is stupid. Mainly because it would only subtract from the product. I think the NFL have got two avenues to explore here. One of them is go full Korean baseball, in which case they've got the big screens at the stadium where they put on like animation crowds, which just looks like you're watching an episode of a cartoon. It's terrifying. That's all it can be described as. It's weird. The other road they could go down is by having no crowd noise, making it very XFL-esque, and focusing on the mic'd up areas and focusing on the things that maybe you otherwise wouldn't hear, like linebacker checks or quarterback audibles or centers making calls at the line. Whatever it may be, there is a unique opportunity there to play on that and bring fans closer to the game. Or you could do the Liam theory. And I think this is how the NFL should absolutely go around it. And I promise you, if this happens, I want royalties, I want money, I want a new fancy yacht, even though I can't swim, and I will happily take another little mini helmet, because I need another one. I want to start collecting them, alright? My theory is, Mr. Roger Goodell, League Commissioner in Chief Man. We all know people want a home field advantage, okay? We also know the other team have fans that will travel to games, and you're going to lose the community aspect of it. So why not use the internet, use social media to put the two together. And the reason I mentioned Twitch earlier on, the reason I mentioned iRacing is that there is a racing league that exists, some of you may have heard of it, known as Formula E. Now, this is the world's first eco-friendly racing series. They race in electronically powered cars. Some former Formula 1 talent race in there. I mean, guys like Nelson Piquet, Lucas Di Grassi. There are some genuine, really big race drivers. Sam Bird's another one. But what they do is something very, very interesting. They have an implementation called Fan Boost, where once a race, fans can go to social media, they can type in the name of their driver with the hashtag FIA Fan Boost or whatever it is, and whoever has the most votes by a certain point in the race will have a temporary turbo boost, for lack of a better term, in their car, which they can use at any time. So your favourite driver may be stuck behind someone, can't get through, you all vote for him on social media, bang, goes flying down next straight. What if you were to have the same sort of premise that you have at hockey games and football games, where they have the fake meter that does that and everyone seems to think it's real, and there's someone going, oh, that doesn't happen, that's an animation, it will go out regardless, right? That theory, where it's designed to ramp everyone up on social media. If let's say your team gets 10,000 tweets of a hashtag inside the first 2 minutes, the next drive, sounds play out the stadium, or which seemingly is the only noise people make at football games. I don't know why they do that. That's not my choice. You do you. You know, I did it in London when the Eagles played the Jaguars. Just sat there about 60 rows up at Wembley going, like whenever the offense is on the field. I don't understand it. I guess it's to try and put them off. Well, I do understand it. It's just a bit funny. Why not? And then when the other team's on the field, as opposed to having, well, let's have the other team make noise, because that rarely happens unless you're in LA, they've got a chance to mute the other team, or to kill the noise, or to really take some life out of it, right? If you're going to play behind empty stadiums, why not? Why not have a series of speakers around the stadium that blur out white noise, or essentially a sound compilation of fan chants from previous years, or audio recordings from fans from other games? You blast it out, and the noise level depends on how much traction a hashtag gets on social media. And then when the other offense comes on, you stop counting that one, you start counting the other team's hashtag, and they've got a chance to kill that down and help their team. That A, engages social interaction, B, makes sure there is fan noise for anyone worried about atmosphere, and C, it engages community. It's something new. The TV product is better, fans don't necessarily feel like they're missing the game, and it makes you have a direct impact, a correlation on the outcome of that game, to an extent, if you believe in the 12th man and all of the rest of it. I don't think that's a bad idea. Now, I may be wrong. I mean, I've had some terrible ideas. I once had a theory that if it's raining, the rain doesn't come down, you're flying up into the rain. That got debunked very, very quickly. But this, I think, does have some weight. I genuinely think it has some weight. I mean, how else would you go about it? You don't want to animate fans, because that does nothing for the players on the field. It's just cringy, it's weird, it's a bit embarrassing. You can't add fake noise, just loosely, because that's cringy, weird, and embarrassing. If you have no fans, you've got to be very particular about how you get around it, which could work. It could work, but it would, while it adds something to the product, while I think hearing those quarterback checks and linebacker calls and audibles and that sort of thing, that's amazing. It does take away from the atmosphere and why you love football games. And when there's 2 minutes left on the clock, the game on the line, the offense with the ball, that roar from the crowd is like a heartbeat. And if you lose that, you lose the drama. Like, the fans do add a lot to a TV broadcast. I mean, put it this way, could you imagine a college football season, Penn State, Ohio State, without the whiteout game? Without the noise? It'd be weird. There's no heart there, almost. Whereas with this, fans stay at home and stay safe, direct correlation, engages community via social media, and I think the impact of having both teams sway a meter when the other team is on the field, it enhances both teams. They can feed off that, because the teams, bear in mind, who are on the field will hear the crowd noise. So if they're doing bad, they'll know. They'll know about it. If they're doing good and the fans get louder and louder and louder and louder, or quieter depending on the other one, they're going to get that same vibe. And it will drive them on, because over time that noise will get louder, that it fires them up in the exact same way it would in real life. And I wanted to present that to you just because I thought it was something interesting. And I want to hear your thoughts. And I know it's not directly Eagles related, but given how the Eagles' home field advantage has been under Doug Peterson, how it's been for a long time, and how often those games either sell out or get very close to it, I thought it would be a good idea to at least experiment with that. So let me know what you think, guys. We are going to now cut to Thank You Next in this little shortened baby podcast. We're about a third of the way through. But if you're on YouTube, don't worry about it. The full podcast will be up for download a little bit later on. If you're not on YouTube, how you doing? Time to answer some of your questions. It's Thank You Next.